Join engineers, industry leaders, and global partners as we shape the blueprint for Kenya's sustainable development. Experience 4 days of powerful sessions, thought-provoking discussions, exhibitions, and networking, all set against the serene coastal beauty of Mombasa. Don't miss your chance to connect, collaborate, and make an impact. Visit convention at iekenya.org to register and be part of a transformative experience that defines the future of engineering in Kenya. See you there. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1.
Elders in Homa Bay County condemn last week's politically instigated clashes in Kasipul constituency that left 2 people dead. Plus,
and in business, Kenya, Burundi collaborate in digital finance.
All that coming up in the business segment, and also at the tail end, we will be giving you the latest in the sports. Of course, you know what happened today between Kenya and Senegal. But first things first, a look at our top stories tonight. It is.
No single star in Turkey's dark clouds as Senegal whips Kenya in an international football friendly. Every trick in the book.
UDA and the opposition traverse 7 by-election zones, campaigning for their own ahead of the November 27th poll. Plus,
Masquerade Brigadier
suspect in court over issuance of fake Ministry of Defense recruitment letters. Many thanks indeed for joining us. My name is Mboya.
I am Muchuma Odim. Our socials at KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Our sign language expert tonight is Caroline Jeroge.
Now, it is every trick in the book as various political actors traverse the country ahead of the 7 by-elections slated for the 27th of this month.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki and his predecessor Rigathi Gachagua campaigned in Mboya North for the better part of Tuesday, campaigning for their respective candidates in what promises to be a showdown of heavyweights.
And it's that story that opens our coverage tonight.
Well, campaigning for the UDA candidate Leo Mudhende, the Deputy President tore into the DCP party leader Rigathi Gachagua, accusing him of peddling politics of hate, ethnicity and divisions.
Na wengine wale wanatukanana, hatujawahi kuwaona. Siku ile walikuwa kwa viti kubwa kubwa, hawakutembea hapa Mboya North. Ile siku walikuwa na kirauni, hatukuwaona hapa. Hakuna barabara hata moja walituletea. Hakuna mradi ya maji hata moja watuliletea. Hakuna hata shule moja walijenga. Hakuna kanisa walijenga. Saa hii kwa sababu kuna by election wanakuja na kimbelembele hapa, wanakuja na matusi hapa.
He appealed to the Mboya North residents to make an informed choice by electing Muthende to guarantee continuation of a legacy of immediate former MP Geoffrey Roko, even as he promised the opposition an epic battle in the mini polls.
Tutachagua leo Muthende, tutampeleka bunge, lakini niseme hata baada ya wiki ijayo sisi tutabaki tukiwa majirani, tukiwa ndugu na dada. Si ni kweli?
Leo Muthende achaguliwe, niende bunge, nitetee maendeleo, nisimame na viongozi wengine wanapenda amani. Leo wa Muthende wale wengine waende nyumbani wasiende.
On the other side of a constituency, Gachagua and his allies were camping, rallying locals to support DP's Newton Karis.
Karis anatosha atoshi, ameiva hajaiva, aingie asiingie, ainuliwe asiinuliwe.
The team alleging a scheme to rig the elections.
Huo mpango mko nao wa kuleta maaskari 5 kwa kila kituo cha kupigia kura, ati wamevaa maguo ya raia, na watahadharisha, kama wewe si mtu wa hapa Mbeere North utaona cha mtakuni.
In Kilifi, Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka was in Magarini to campaign for DCP candidate Stanley Kenga. Kalonzo says the mini polls are an acid test for the united opposition and the shaping up of alignments before the 2027 general elections.
DC United Opposition, muungano wa vyama ambavyo vitaunga serikali baada ya chini ya miaka miwili, tumekuja kuwakabidhi huyu muungwana ili mletee bungeni, na mtaona ambao wengine watamkaribisha bungeni.
Hii ndio mwelekeo ambao uko na sisi leo, na taifa zima la Kenya linaangalia Magarini, na nyinyi wa Magarini, ili muweze kulinda heshima yenu, ni lazima tarehe 27 tutoke kwa wingi na tuweze kupeana mwelekeo wa taifa letu la Kenya kwa kumchagua Stanley Karisa Kenga.
Uchaguzi wenu mdogo, mbunge wenu hajakufa, hakuna mtu amefutwa kazi, ni sababu kulikuwa na wizi hapa Magarini. Kweli si kweli?
Meanwhile, the National Council of Churches in Kenya, NCCK, Nairobi branch, wants the IEBC to come clear on what they allege is a scheme to lock out potential voters in the ongoing voter enlisting exercise by insisting on the scanning of the iris for biometric data.
This contravenes the provisions of the Constitution and the Elections Act, which indicate that scanning the iris is optional. What is the rationale for this requirement?
John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Chairman Erastus Ethekon is warning against electoral violence as he revealed investigations are underway in Mboya North and Kasipul constituency over claims of electoral-related violence.
Of course, we remember 2 people died in Kasipul. This comes after the UDA party filed police complaint alleging that there's a plot for opposition to cause chaos during a rally in Mboya.
The IEBC chairman, in an exclusive interview with KBC, pledged to ensure a free and fair mini poll, adding that the commission was ready to oversee the mini poll.
Here's that report.
Political campaigns enter the home stretch with less than 10 days left to the November 27th by-elections for 24 electoral wards and constituencies. IEBC chairperson Erastus Ethekon says the commission is ready to conduct the mini poll.
So for us as IBC, what I would like to assure Kenyans is that these elections, starting with the by-election, will be done in a free, fair, and credible and verifiable manner. So we should be able to account for all the results that we will be transmitting and telling Kenyans.
Speaking to KBC, Ethekon also warned against chaotic campaigns, saying the commission was working with police to investigate claims by UDA party of a plot to cause chaos by a rival political party during their rallies in Mboya North.
For us to verify, we've requested the DCI to investigate that clip to find out who are these people, what was their motivation, what were their intentions, what were they planning, so that they give us that information.
He further revealed they were probing an incident reported in Kasipul constituency and had already summoned one of the candidates for questioning. Ethicon assured political players and citizens the commission will ensure free and fair by-elections, urging Kenyans to exercise their civic right peacefully.
Generally, across the 24 electoral election areas, we've had peace, except for the few unfortunate incidences in Kasipul, which we addressed on Friday. So there's a hearing that is going on to determine what are the issues that happened in Kasipul that resulted to violence, loss of lives, and destruction of property.
On the concerns of voter registration apathy, Ethicon says they are engaging in civic education and have set up mobile registration centers for pastoralist communities to ensure voter registration.
Currently, we are registering people at the constituency offices, which is a challenge for pastoralist nomadic communities. So when we launch mass voter registration, we will ensure that we target the nomadic pastoralist communities through mobile registration unit or center.
The November 27th by-election will be held among others Baringo County Senate seat, 6 MP seats in Banissa, Kasipul, Magarini, Malava, Mbeere North, and Ugunja constituencies, and several county assembly members.
Let's stay with the by-election. Safina Party leader Jimmy Wajigi has called on the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to act tough on those trying to bribe voters for the forthcoming by-elections.
Speaking while drumming up support for Safina Party candidate for Kariobangi North Ward, Christopher Wandera, famously known as Dangote, Wanjigi urged the electorate to exercise their civic duty willfully without being coerced by anybody.
Kariobangi North is among the 16 enlisted wards that will be participating in the 27th November by-election.
Ukiona register ya parties, political parties hapa nchini, 92 parties. Si ni Wakristo? Ni Wakristo? Hakuna chama ingine ambayo ni ya Mungu, ni Safina tu. Muingie hii chama, mufaidike huku mbele, milele kwa milele. Huyu kijana ni lazima tumsukume na munisaidie. Tafadhali. Unajua akipata, mimi nimepata. Na tumetoboa kitu kikubwa sana hapa Nairobi. Tumetoboa ODM. Umeshika vizuri? Tunaanza kukatakata ODM vizuri. Lakini hiyo ODM ilikuwa na watu wengi, si ndio? Tunawataka hapa. Wote waingie hapa. Tuko na Dangote ako ndani ya Safina. Na tumuingize tuone ya kwamba yeye akuwe the first Gen Z candidate baada ya revolution kuchaguliwa Kenya mzima. Yeye anakuwa wa kwanza. Kura Bango ikifika saa 11 itakuwa imefungwa. Tumekuwa tukidanganywa uongozi wa vijana ni wa kesho. Si ndio? Siku wengine wetu tumezeeka tukiambiwa hivyo. Sasa tukubaliane ukweli. Kijana wenu mmemsomeshea Kariobangi, mmemlelea Kariobangi, anajua Kariobangi vizuri, sawa? So pia mimi muache hii mwaka moja niwafanyie kazi, muone kazi ya kijana wenu.
Mimi nawawatia kijana. Mwanze kutembea na huyu kijana wangu kuanzia kesho.
On to a story we highlighted for you at the beginning of the broadcast. A man posing as a Kenya Defence Forces brigadier and issuing fake Ministry of Defence recruitment letters has been detained for 7 days.
Milimani Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina granted the prosecution's request to continue holding suspect Joshua Muimi at Parklands Police Station as investigations into the alleged scam continue.
Our court reporter Letua Debra now takes us through the details.
Joshua Muimi was arrested on November 17th, 2025 at an apartment in Kilimani, Nairobi, where DCI Parklands detective reportedly found him dressed in full Kenya Air Force uniform, complete with a brigadier rank insignia in a name tag reading MJ Muimi. Investigators recovered several suspected fake Ministry of Defense documents, including 6 admission letters, 7 calling letters with identical serial numbers, fingerprint forms, an ID card, a KCC certificate believed to belong to a victim, and other papers. According to the DPP, Muimi is accused of issuing counterfeit recruitment letters, directing victims to report to the recruit training school in Eldoret on the day of his arrest.
I have not received any money from anybody, Honorable Court.
He, however, denied receiving money from anyone and requested bail, arguing that 7 days in custody will affect him as he is on medication.
7 days to me, it will be traumatizing. Because I'm taking medicine. I'm sleeping on that floor, on that cement. It is traumatizing.
The accused dismissed the seized documents as just papers.
Those papers are only blank papers. They are only blank. You can ascertain to that, Honorable Sir. They are only blank. Nobody has said it is not even stamped on anywhere. There is no name of somebody else on that paper.
The prosecution argued that he is a flight risk with no known residence. Chief Magistrate Lucas Onyina ordered Muimi to be detained for 7 days at Parklands Police Station. Elsewhere, detectives in Nairobi will detain 6 suspected armed robbers until Thursday, when Makadara Law Court Magistrate Court will issue a ruling on a 21-day detention request.
Such they were found with so many items in connection to housebreaking and burglary, Your Honor. They had a bunch of master keys.
They're basically sensational. It is just pure emotions for the reason that when you look at this document, anyone can allege anything. But the only thing that will guide this court into granting justice to any party, the only evidence.
According to the prosecution, they need 21 days to detain the suspects, 4 Kenyans, a Tanzanian, an Indian national who were apprehended on Sunday, November 16th, after breaking into a house in Nairobi's South B estate.
I'll give directions on Thursday. All of them will remain in custody until then.
Letua Debra for Prime Edition.
Well, that story brings us to a first break. It's 19 minutes past 9. Coming up,
the latest in regards to green mobility and much more with the detail and clarity you deserve. Stay with us.
She assures me that Lucia is still crazy over heels about you.
Stop beating around the bush.
Rodrigo is in serious trouble.
I'm tired of you pressuring me with that. I already told you that if it takes longer than you planned, I'll finish the damn test.
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
When the hills gave way in Marburg, thousands were left with nothing. But together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity. Together for Marquette. Donate through paybill number 522533, account number 8036543, or drop foodstuffs and supplies at Marquette County offices. Every shilling, every tree, every act of kindness counts. KBC, bringing Kenyans together.
Welcome back to Prime Edition, our socials.
At KBC Channel 1 on X, Facebook and YouTube.
Now, the Ministry of Health says that it will not relent in pursuing individuals and health facilities involved in filing fraudulent health insurance claims as part of an ongoing reform strategy under the Social Health Authority.
Health Cabinet Secretary Eden Duale revealed that 8 investigative files have already been submitted to DCI.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale maintains that the country health sector is undergoing its most significant transformation in decades, with structural reforms being rolled out alongside the fraud investigations.
I've given many, including the former acting CEO, the current acting CEO, many accountants of SHA, many facilities. As of today, I think the DCI has submitted another 8 files. His teams are in Mandera.
Despite these challenges, the ministry says the Social Health Authority is making significant progress, as evidenced by the number of Kenyans now covered. Duale notes that 27.5 million people are currently registered under SHA, with 30,000 to 35,000 new registrations daily.
Every day, those who cannot pay in the informal sector and who have no money go through the SHA Lipa Pole Pole. Yesterday, 1,900 went through that and paid 5.5 million.
Duale further observed that the government has strengthened emergency referral systems, improved staffing in maternity wards, and ensured a reliable supply of essential medicines, all aimed at preventing unnecessary deaths of mothers and newborns.
KEMSA supplies every 100 different types of drugs that is asked for, requested for. They can supply 80. We are refilling their refill rate to reach up to about 95. For the president gave me up to December, I must take it to 99%. So that every dispensary, this story of there are no drugs in our dispensary must come to an end.
Jacqueline Masharia for Prime Edition.
A communication team from the National Police Service completed a 2-day on-the-job training at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation on Tuesday.
That's right. The program was designed to give them practical experience in media communication skills.
The team of 17 officers graduated last week from the Kenya Institute of Mass Communication after a 5-week training on media-related skills.
KBC Managing Director Agnes Kaleche said that the experience positions them to build stronger relationships with media, foster collaborations between the media and also law enforcement officers, as well as, to improve how police relay information.
Here is that report.
For 2 days, 17 corporate communication officers from the Kenya Police Service, Administration Police Service, and Directorate of Criminal Investigations pitched tent at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation for a hands-on experience in broadcast journalism. Here, they had an opportunity to engage with various broadcast departments to understand the operations from news gathering, packaging, and dissemination.
For the last 2 days, we've had the opportunity to host the public communication unit for the National Police Service here for a 2 days internship. It's been a very interesting experience for us. As a national broadcaster, our mandate is very clear: to serve the public. And using our experiences, we want to build that capacity among, public institutions. And by doing that, they'll be able to serve the public better and more effectively.
KBC's Managing Director Agnes Kaleche, commending the partnership with the National Police Service, said the training provided a platform for the officers to understand public communication.
As KBC, we also, want to strengthen other public institutions by allowing their communicators, or even the public relation and communication departments, to come to KBC, understand how a newsroom works, understand how media works, like I said, so that they can effectively communicate and build that trust among the public.
The officers, thanking the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja for the opportunity, said the exposure provided them with a clear understanding of dissemination of public information.
By coming here now, we get to appreciate how much it takes to put this work together, at times with very many constraints. Our key mandate is protection, and your key mandate is to inform. So when we come together, it is important that we use our relationship to protect the public and also give them the right information.
During the training, they visited, among others, the TV production, editorial, radio, and digital departments. Doreen Arange for Prime Edition.
Now let's take you back to the court. Uchumi Supermarket Chief Executive Officer Lawrence Musimi Ngao has been charged with 2 counts of stealing from the chain store.
Appearing before Kibra Principal Magistrate Agneta Ogonda, the prosecution informed the court that Musimi conspired with others not in court to steal a chimney extractor fan valued at 135,000 shillings, the property of Hotspots Coffee Lounge Limited.
Now, he denied the charges and was released on a cash bail of 50,000 shillings.
His application not to be charged, citing the charge sheet was not properly crafted, was declined, with the case now set for pre-trial on the 27th of November.
The objection relates solely to the form of the charge sheet, which the court has already found to be compliant with the law. No basis exists to permit cross-examination at this stage. So, in light of the foregoing analysis, the court makes the following determination. There is no material variance between the charges and their particulars. The charge sheet complies with Section 134 of the CBC and Article 50, Sub-Article 2B of the Constitution. Section 85, Subsection 5 of the CBC is not applicable to the objection raised. There is no legal basis for rejecting the charge sheet. This person or defense have been provided with the documents, then we can proceed to fix it.
Onto a report compiled by Ben Chumba, the government has rolled out the first ever nationwide legal aid service, deploying state-funded lawyers to every county.
Speaking during the launch of in Nairobi here, Attorney General Dorcas Oduor said the initiative marks a major milestone in ensuring that every Kenyan, regardless of income, can finally get justice without fear, and also not have to worry about the legal cost or intimidation.
That's right. The program targets widows, children, gender-based violence survivors, and thousands who have long been locked out of the justice system just because they could not afford legal representation.
Ben Chumba reports.
In Kibra, the country's largest informal settlement, the justice system has long felt distant, expensive, and intimidating, out of reach for thousands of residents. But the government says that era must now come to an end.
We reaffirm that no child should be denied maintenance because a parent cannot afford a lawyer. No widow should lose her inheritance because she lacks representation. And no young person should spend months in remand over petty offences for lack of counsel.
With the commissioning of the National Legal Aid Service, state-funded lawyers will be deployed to all 47 counties.
The Office of the Attorney General was resourced to recruit 90 state counsel, all whom have now been deployed across all the 47 counties to anchor a fully functional national legal aid program. And each county now has 2 state counsel to monitor and to manage the legal aid clinic.
The new model includes mobile, solar-powered legal aid units placed directly within communities, offering walk-in access to services such as virtual court support, land dispute mediation, maintenance claims, and guidance for survivors of gender-based violence.
This is something that goes to the heart of the ordinary people. Many of them feel terrorized by the justice system, but by you setting up these legal aid clinics, it's going to go a long way in ensuring that they can access justice.
We are more than willing to support and have our input as well for us to put 6 legal aid clinics throughout Mombasa.
My appeal is that you also make sure that you set up these centers also in the marginalized communities, not only in Nairobi, in the big towns, but also in the marginalized communities. There are children who are stateless, who are refugees and are in conflict with the law, and they will need legal aid.
Children in conflict with the law will be prioritized, with dedicated officers helping divert them from criminal courts and offering counseling and legal representation where necessary. A victim protection desk will also support survivors of crime.
These legal aid centers are going to be backed by a very strong call center that will be up and running from next week, Monday. And that call center will be 24 hours manned by very senior state counsel. They'll be able to answer you and to assist you any time of the day.
The program will work with universities, community groups, and pro bono lawyers to extend services nationwide. Ben Chumba, Prime Edition.
Now, the government has unveiled an ambitious 5-year strategy to assist communities living in extreme poverty to transition from self-reliance.
Principal Secretary for Social Protection and Senior Citizen Affairs, Joseph Mutari, launching the inaugural Ultra Poor Graduation Strategy 2025-2030, says it will build on the already established poverty eradication framework, such as the monthly cash transfer program that has so far benefited at least 1.7 million Kenyans.
Mutari further revealed that the strategy will offer various transformative social and also economic interventions to the millions of Kenyans living below the national poverty line. The Kenya Poverty Report of 2022 indicates that more than 3.6 million of Kenya's population live in chronic and extreme poverty, with the biggest concentration being in the arid and the semi-arid areas.
The Kenya Ultra Poor Graduation Strategy 2025-2030 provides a unified platform for coordination across all social sectors and the development actors. It promotes active collaboration among national and county governments. The strategy introduces a structured, sequenced, and holistic approach that enables the poorest households to build sustainable livelihoods, accumulate assets and savings, access financial systems, strengthen adaptive capacity to climate risks, and gain the confidence and capability to thrive independently.
How do we be able to support them so that some of them don't have to be part of these cash transfers if they're able to graduate out of these out of cash transfers, and maybe others can come in? So what we do is we give them business training. The government is providing also a grant to be able to support that, but then also the government is also doing a very important thing, what's called mentoring.
That is what the document will look like.
Onto green mobility, Kenya's transition to clean mobility has received a boost after a local energy vehicle company announced plans to establish an electric vehicle EV assembly plant in Mombasa by 2026.
The move by Moja EV company, besides conserving the environment, will also create 6,000 new jobs. They are planning to invest in matatus. The company announced a bank-financed package.
Speaking in Nairobi, Moja EV Kenya Limited CEO Wang Eping emphasized the company's long-term vision to make Kenya a regional leader in electric mobility through manufacturing and innovation.
We are having engines which are called Euro 5 engines, which are currently right now, which we are using. Those buses, the emission is very low, and hence we are able to actually cover what we call environment-friendly buses. And we are currently picking a fleet of 15 vehicles as a start-off for us to be able to also decongest Nairobi.
FKD. Disassemble the whole vehicle first, then we do the assembly locally. The second stage is CKD. We import the spare parts from China, then we do the assembly in Kenya. Step 3, we will introduce the spare parts supplier to this market. After step 3, we estimate have 4,000 or 6,000 workers to do the assembly.
The government is considering adding Kenya Airways to the public-private partnership deal to revamp Jomo Kenyatta International Airport as a strategy to revive the national air carrier.
Appearing before the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee, Treasury Principal Secretary Chris Kipto defended the government's financial support to Kenya Airways, saying it was performing in the national interest.
MPs, however, questioned the values of public monies being loaned out to KQ and demanded a commitment plan for repaying the loans.
So far, the government has lent at least 130 billion shillings to Kenya Airways, despite owning 48% of the company's shares.
Public money shall be used in a prudent and responsible manner, and financial management shall be responsible, and fiscal reporting shall be clear. Please, PS, convince us and convince the people of Kenya that the advancement you made to KQ and Article 223 falls in or any of these provisions of the principles of public finance.
Why we have to continuously do this is because of national interest. KQ is an important carrier and plays an important economy to our economy. This is a loan, so it's not like the government of Kenya has lost. It is just that we expect that when the situation improves, KQ should be able to repay, and this money should come back to the taxpayer. There were even suggestions that we should try and position KQ together with the new airport to see if we can get a strategic investor that can both engage in the JKIA while also putting money to revamp the airline. These are still work in progress.
Commitment on how KQ is supposed to be paying off the loan as of this query. Other loan given to them, we have no issue with it. We are dealing with this query right now and how KQ is committed on repaying that loan as of now.
Kenya is on high alert following the detection of the deadly Marburg virus in neighboring Jinka town. That's in southern Ethiopia, after 9 people tested positive for the viral hemorrhagic fever.
The Kenya National Public Health Institute, calling for vigilance, has urged counties to take immediate public health preparedness measures against the often fatal illness.
Now, those measures include, number 1, enhanced surveillance; number 2, case management preparedness; number 3, infection prevention control; 4, laboratory readiness; 5, risk communication; and 6, last but not least, community engagement, as well as coordination and multi-sectoral response.
Additionally, they have spelled out personal and community health measures, namely avoid contact with infectious fluids, practice regular hand hygiene, observe safe burial practices, avoid bushmeat, and practice safe food handling.
Now, the symptoms of the virus are as follows. 1, acute onset of fever. There's also vomiting. There's diarrhea, cases of headache, abdominal pain, and measles-like rash, and also unexplained bleeding from any opening within the body anatomy.
Get ready to feel the rush of the open road. From 19th till 23rd November, the African Road Cycling Championships come to Kwale County. Watch Africa's fastest cyclists from all over the continent battle it out on Kenya's stunning coast. Be there to cheer the champions or catch every thrilling moment live on TV. Don't miss it. The African Road Cycling Championships from 19th till 23rd November in Kwale County.
Ulikuwa unafanya nini hapo?
Breaking news. Hii utapenda.
Ni nini?
Hivi timbi ndo sipendi.
Kwani kwa home ni shida?
Hawa watu naogopa hapa, kila mtu akona shida zake na siri zake.
Inaniuma kuona Josh akiwa na stress hivi. Nitapoteza.
Na ndio maana unafaa kuwa strong.
Nimeachilia familia yangu ikatusiwa.
Utalia tena mama.
I just don't understand why you won't tell me anything. I have a right to know the truth.
She assures me that Lucia is still crazy over heels about you.
Stop beating around the bush.
Rodrigo is in serious trouble. I'm tired of you pressuring me with that. I already told you that if it takes longer than you planned, I'll finish the damn tests.
All right, I get the message. You have started a snowball rolling that you cannot stop. Huh? Getting married is the best solution.
You cannot force me to do this, okay?
Marcelo Escalante has been flirting with me openly.
On to some business now. The current dividend payouts by savings and credit societies are straining their sectors, eroding their financial health.
The director of cooperative banking at the Cooperative Bank of Kenya, Vincent Marango, says there is need to cap dividend payouts to increase capital retention and advance more credit to members.
The SACCO's capital retention rate stands at an average of 6% as some societies, struggle with capital.
September this year, the SACCO Society Regulatory Authority reported that saving and credit cooperative societies reduced their average dividend rate on share capital to 10.46% in 2024, the first time since 2021. The sector is planning to revise downwards or retain dividend payout at the current rates.
How much assets you can carry. So we are telling our SACCOs the retained earnings is not up to the international best practice standards. And the leaders have agreed that they will discuss, they will do more retention so that we not only build our institutional capital, but also our retained earnings so that our core capital is not just at the statutory threshold. We will be up, over and above.
Retain a certain percentage consistently from our dividends. If, for example, you are giving 12% dividends, can you engage your members to agree that you can pay 10% and retain 2% to strengthen your SACCO for the future? We are looking at 20, 15, 30 years to come. How are the SACCOs going to look like? Are we prepared to meet the future challenges?
The government is also pressing the sector to lower dividends payout in a bid to capitalize the sector and avoid erosion of the capital adequacy ratio. Cooperative Bank of Kenya Director of Banking Division, Vincent Marangu, says capping of dividends payouts will help capitalize the industry, increasing their capital base for on-one lending to customers.
When we look at our capital structures in the cooperative sector, we have the regulated SACCOs, almost for the deposit-taking SACCOs, for example, almost 167 out of 172 are meeting their minimum capital requirement. But the threshold of that capital growth and requirement over the statutory requirement is not very high. When you look at the internal capital adequacy threshold or achievement of a number of our regulated SACCOs, we are not up there.
Marangu is urging on SACCOs to consolidate their services to increase their working capital and enjoy economies of scale.
Be very vibrant in future. If the next 5 years we don't know what might happen, if we have challenges and shocks in our economy and you don't have adequate capital, then you will have challenge. If you don't have adequate capital, there will be a problem in terms of how much deposit you can take in, how much loans you can lend.
The government has also tipped to push for prompt payment of farmers' arrears to reduce non-performing loans in agriculture-based SACCOs. Benson Rioba, reporting for Prime Edition.
From dividend payouts to other developments, harmonization of standards is key to lowering the price of food and strengthening food security through eased cross-border trade across Africa.
Speakers at the close of the 11th African Grain Trade Summit called for unified grain standards and the removal of the trade barriers, arguing that predictable and efficient grain markets are essential for farmers, traders and households grappling with high food prices.
EAC and Regional Development Cabinet Secretary Beatrice Askul, who also chairs the EAC Council of Ministers, said Africa cannot continue spending $48 billion annually on food imports, while local producers face market fragmentation and inconsistent regulations.
Africa struggles with high food prices due to unfavorable weather, rising import bill and poor infrastructure, despite the continent having some of the most fertile lands in the world. In 2024, Africa imported food valued at close to 8 trillion shillings, with rice, maize and corn oil topping the list. Despite many attempts to modernize agriculture and address inefficiencies, the continent of close to 1.5 billion people hosts the largest population of hungry people in the world.
For Zanzibar, these conversations carry special urgency. Our dependence on imported food, with over 80% of our staple consumption sourced externally, is a reminder that resilience must start at home. At the same time, our growing export base in clothes, seaweed, and manufactured goods shows us that transformation is possible with the right policies and partnerships.
I call on the national governments to continue investing in enabling infrastructure and regulatory reforms. I appeal to our development partners to align financing and technical assistance with the African growing agenda.
Policymakers say Africa's food security challenge is less about limited capacity and more about fragmented markets and uneven standards that restrict the movement of foods from surplus to deficit regions.
Africa cannot secure its future without securing food for its people, and growing markets are central to this vision. Our deliberations here in Zanzibar have underscored the urgent need to strengthen resilience, enhance competitiveness, and accelerate integration of our grain systems.
EAC Cabinet Secretary Beatrice Askul is calling for the removal of non-tariff barriers, noting that long queues and multiple inspections raise the price of food for ordinary citizens.
Kenya remains fully committed to advancing policies and initiatives that make cross-border grain trade smoother, predictable, and efficient.
The CS has launched the upgraded Regional Agricultural Trade Intelligence Network, a real-time platform monitoring grain and pulses prices across 54 border points in 14 eastern and southern African countries. The tool is expected to empower farmers with better price intelligence and strengthen regional supply chains. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
Kenyan businesses should accelerate adoption of responsible and sustainable practices as new European Union regulations begin to reshape global trade dynamics.
Director for Trade Simon Chelego says responsible business conduct is no longer a soft corporate value, but a decisive factor in global competitiveness.
Chelego says that the European Union now influences trillions of euros in global commerce through sustainability requirements.
Kenya exports goods worth 190 billion shillings to the European Union, mainly comprising agricultural produce such as coffee, tea and flowers. However, emerging frameworks such as the EU Green Deal and the Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive are raising the bar on traceability, environmental stewardship and human rights protections across supply chains. These developments could pose challenges for exporters, particularly micro, small and medium enterprises that may face challenges in complying.
As you know, it's the Economic Partnership Agreement that entered into force last year. It is a trade agreement, but it has also a development cooperation component, and it is the first economic partnership agreement the EU has entered with a partner country, which contains ambitious provision on trade and sustainable development.
The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has rolled out a program to help businesses adjust by training hundreds of enterprises on sustainability and supporting MSMEs establish traceability and responsible sourcing structures.
Current concerns for Kenyan smallholder farmers is compliance with the EU deforestation regulation. How can they demonstrate that products entering the EU market are not contributing to deforestation? So those are some of the challenges, but it really needs to be seen on a sector-by-sector basis because these risks can, of course, vary.
Hoffman encouraged Kenyan companies to monitor global legal developments, noting a growing trend towards mandatory human rights due diligence in several countries.
The government is doing what we call trade facilitation. You know, EU is one of our lucrative markets, in exports of horticultural products and cut flowers. Basically, we ensure that our exporters are up to date with human rights issues, labor rights, not employing children. So
Absa Bank Kenya has reported a profit after tax of 16.9 billion shillings in the 9 months to September 2025, despite a marginal drop in loans and advances.
The bank says loans and advances declined slightly by 0.6% to 309.7 billion in reported period.
Now, customer deposits jumped 9.2% to settle at 384 billion shillings, though net interest income fell 4.6% to settle at 33 billion, reflecting pressure on interest margins.
Net loans and advances rose slightly from 309.1 billion shillings last year to 309.7 billion shillings this year, representing a 0.2% increase. However, interest income on loans dropped, falling from 53.3 billion shillings in 2024 to 32.6 billion shillings in 2025, a decline of 38.9%. The bank also recorded weaker non-funded income, with a total non-interest income easing from 83.2 billion shillings to 55.5 billion shillings, representing a 33.3% decline. Total interest expenses dropped from 13.0 billion shillings to 9.6 billion shillings, a drop of 26.1%. And other operating expenses fell from 32.6 billion shillings to 22.3 billion shillings, marking a 31.4% reduction. Credit quality improved significantly, with Absa cutting its loan loss provision from 9.1 billion shillings to 4.8 billion shillings, almost a 46.7% decline. Total assets grew by 14% to 554 billion shillings, underscoring the strength of their balance sheet. The bank also saw a minimal increase in operating expenses to 17.5 billion shillings.
Get ready to feel the rush of the open road. From 19th till 23rd November, the African Road Cycling Championships come to Kwale County. Watch Africa's fastest cyclists from all over the continent battle it out on Kenya's stunning coast. Be there to cheer the champions or catch every thrilling moment live on TV. Don't miss it. The African Road Cycling Championships from 19th till 23rd November in Kwale County.
Je, wewe ni mpenda soka? Na je, wajua kuwa KBC mwenzio wako wa dhati michezoni anakujali? Ndio maana KBC Channel 1 hukuletea taarifa na uchambuzi wa soka.
Kafu ndio wamechukua usukani
humu nchini, barani Afrika na ugaibuni, ikiwemo EPL, Serie A, Bundesliga na ligi zingine. Mashabiki pia hutuzwa kwa kujibu maswali kuhusiana na soka.
Swali letu la leo.
Haya yote ni kwenye kipindi cha Dunda Dunda kwenye KBC Channel 1 kila Ijumaa kuanzia saa 5 asubuhi hadi saa 6:30 mchana.
Nawahimiza Wakenya waendelee watch Dunda Dunda show.
KBC, mwenzio wa dhati michezoni.
And glad for staying with us. It is time for the latest from the sports desk with me, Bernardo Kumu. The national soccer team, Harambee Stars, suffered the heaviest defeat in the international friendly match after going down 8-0 to Senegal earlier today evening in Turkey. Former Liverpool star Sadio Mane scored a hat-trick as Bayern Munich striker Nicholas Jackson netted the brace, while West Ham United defender Malik Diouf, PSG forward Ibrahim Mbaye and Samspor striker Sheriff Ndiaye all found the net once for the 8-0 triumph. It was the second loss for Harambee Stars in 4 days after narrowly losing 1-0 to Equatorial Guinea. The win, on the other hand, restored African giant Senegal's pride after they failed to score against Brazil, where they lost 2-0. Kenya's Harambee Stars are playing the high-profile friendly matches as a build-up towards 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, a tournament which will be hosted by Kenya, Uganda and Tanzania.
Kwa mwaka 2027 mashindano haya yatakapoandaliwa na taifa la Kenya, vile vile Uganda. Nyingine inapigwa penalty, anajaza kwenye wavu. Jaza kwenye wavu hapa, Mkenya anaongezwa goli la 8. Anaongezwa goli la 8 na mchezaji Ndiaye Papa Cherif ambaye alichezewa ndivyo sivyo kwenye kisanduku.
Learning curve for Harambee Stars, and the quality was telling in that particular match. But on to the next one and chin up for the Harambee Stars. Elsewhere, the national under-17 boys soccer team Junior Stars started their 2026 Africa Cup of Nations SACCO qualifiers with the 1-0 draw against Somalia in Group encounter played at Abebe Bikila Stadium in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The Junior Stars blinked fast through Reis Ochieng in the 31st minute before Anas Mohammed equalized for Somalia in the 56th minute. Kenya will face Rwanda this Friday in the second match before they play South Sudan on the 24th of this month. They will then conclude their Group A fixtures against host Ethiopia on the 27th. In other results, Uganda thrashed Sudan 9-0 in Group B. And to Tokyo now, where Sarah Kimani Wangare added to Kenya's medal tally at the ongoing Deaflympics in Tokyo, Japan, by winning a bronze medal in the women's 10,000 meters at the Komazawa Olympic Park. Wangare was awarded the medal after 2 athletes who finished ahead of her were disqualified for running in the wrong shoes. She won bronze in 37 minutes, 24.37 seconds. Mexican Juarez Lourdes won gold medal in 36 minutes, 17.07 seconds, while Finnish Sarah Ellis scooped the silver medal. The other Kenyan in that race, Grancy Kendagor, finished in 10th position. Following Wangare's third place finish, Kenya has now bagged 4 medals in the Tokyo Deaflympics, 1 gold, 2 silver and a bronze medal.
I'm so happy that God has given me this victory, and even competing with these other different countries, it has not been easy, and God had really given me an opportunity to participate in this. I'm also shocked, and I really thank God for this achievement.
I've come to support the team as a team leader and to show commitments from the government that any sports, be it abled, those abled differently, we support them. The government, led by His Excellency President William Ruto, has committed to support sports.
And back here, where 76 countries have confirmed participation in the World Under-21 Taekwondo Championship, which Kenya will host for the first time from the 3rd to 8th of December. Team Kenya, which consists of 16 players, intensified training at the Kenya Academy of Sports, are ready to impress in front of the home fans.
Kenya is set to host one of its largest international sporting events, the World Under-21 Taekwondo Championships, which is expected to draw global attention and participants from across the world. So far, 76 countries have confirmed their participation, according to Team Kenya's technical manager Martin Marava, with the visitors expected to start jetting in at the end of this month. The Kenyan team, which consists of 16 players, intensified training at their residential training camp at the Kenya Academy of Sports ahead of the global showpiece.
Before coming here, we were doing non-residential training at Blue Phoenix, and then we came here. So far, at least we have adequate time to polish and prepare adequately.
We started a little bit not so early, but the team is catching up well. We are trying to sharpen all the techniques that we have, and hope that we'll be having the best team in the world.
The team, under the guidance of experienced coaches, targets to amass more medals, having been in camp since the start of last week.
Truly, these guys are doing very good. They are really pushing the technique. They are now catching up very fast, and we believe we are going to. They're going to do something good for the nation.
The World Under-21 Taekwondo Championship will run under the theme Taekwondo Values for Climate Action. Frederick Muki for Prime Edition.
And definitely on that note, where Kenya will be hosting the Under-21 Taekwondo Championship here in Kenya from next month, winds us up from the sports desk. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernardo Kumu. I hand you back to Tom and Odim.
Thank you, Okota, for that sporty update. We've got to go now. We've got to go now. And
I want to thank everyone for your company and your feedback on our social media platforms. Till some other time, I am Muchuma Odim. Our sign language expert tonight is Caroline Jeroge.
And I'm Tom Mboya. We'll see you again next week on the same channel, on the same time. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
When the hills gave way in Marburg, thousands were left with nothing. But together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity.